Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create this easy, soft, glittery cut crease. If you'd like to see how I created this look and what products I use, then keep watching. First of all, I use the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in the shade Eden to prime my eyes so that my eyeshadow will stick. I then went in with the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette and used the shade W.O.S on my brow bone using a flat eyeshadow brush. Then using a fluffy brush, I went in with the shade Naked 2 and applied that just above my crease, kind of as a transition shade to help blend the colours together when we apply darker colours. Then using a pencil type fluffy brush, I applied the shade Faint to my crease, and this is where you want to kind of build up the colour, adding a bit of colour little by little. And I slowly brought that colour towards the inner corner of my eye, but remaining in my crease and outlining my socket. I wanted to use one palette but ended up having to dip into my Naked original palette and use the shade Buck to apply that just above my crease. And I'm using a 217 brush to apply this colour and also help buff it in and make it a bit more blended. Now for the fun part of this makeup look, and I use my favourite glitter eyeliner in the shade Midnight Cowboy by Urban Decay, and I used a flat concealer type brush to apply this to my eyelid. Then using the same brush, whilst it's still wet, I dipped it in the MAC Reflects Pigment pot and applied it directly on top of the glitter I just applied on my eyelid. To line my eyes, I use the NYC liquid eyeliner, which is super cheap and works well to cover the texture of glitter and pigments that you use, so I've used that for this look. So as you can see, I drew a line from the corner of my eye to create the wing, and then I drew another line coming from my lash line to finish off that wing and fill in between. After I created my wing, I went back in to the Naked Basics palette and added the shade Crave with a pencil type fluffy brush, again the same one that I used before, and just went into my crease with that to create that soft kind of cut crease effect. I then went back in with a 217 brush but not adding any more product and just went ahead and blended that in. Because it's a glittery look, you're bound to have some fallout, so I just used a wipe to clean that up and also sharpen my eyeliner wing. For my brows, I used the Benefit Brow in the shade 4, and I used my angled liner brush by Illamasqua to apply this and just fill in my brows. Because my brows are naturally a bit arched and angular, I like to fill it in a bit more softer and add a bit of a curve to them, so you can see me making funny faces and frowning a lot to achieve that softer, rounder brow. To tightline the top liner, I use the Urban Decay 24/7 eye pencil in the shade Perversion. And then for the bottom waterline, I use a 24/7 Waterline Pencil in Walk of Shame, which is actually my favourite nude pencil. For my concealer, I used the Naked Skin Concealer by Urban Decay and applied it in a triangular shape under my eye, and then went ahead and blended it out with a beauty blender. Then with my detail shader brush by Jouer, I went in with the shade Fade faint even, and applied that to my lower lash line, blending it in towards the inner corner. And I prefer for my eye shape to have most of the colour concentrated towards the outer corner of my eye and less towards the inner corner of my eye. For my lashes, I use the Velour Lashes in the style Wispy Me Away, and I use my Shode lash glue, which is the best lash glue for me. And I always like lashes that have a wispy type effect because I feel like they suit my eye shape better and they look more feminine and pretty. I then went and highlighted the inner corner of my eye with the shade Venus from the Naked Basics palette. Then went over the lash line of the eyelashes with the Illamasqua gel liner in Infinity, and I used an angled liner brush for this. I then used whatever's left on the brush to kind of define my lower lash line because I feel like it gives me a really bigger eye effect. And then of course blending that out with the detail shader brush. Now onto the face, I used the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation, which is a super heavy coverage foundation, and I used the shade 4.0 on the inner parts of my face to highlight the face, as the concealer was more my skin tone colour. I applied it using a beauty blender straight directly from the pump, and yeah, it takes a lot longer to blend than a normal foundation because it is quite heavy. But it is waterproof and I have reviewed it on my blog, so do check that out if you're interested. And then to buff out the smaller areas of the face like the eye contours, I use a concealer buffing brush by Jouer. I did apply a darker shade of 6.0 to the other areas of my face, but that was off camera because my camera died. To set the makeup in place, I used the Mercier translucent powder and use my beauty blender to apply this. And I also decided to highlight the areas of the face that I wanted to bring forward. After dusting off this translucent powder, I added mascara to my bottom lashes to just help define them a bit further. To contour, highlight and use blush, I used the One Naked Flush palette and used a bronzer shade to apply a bit of contour, and then the blush to the apples of my cheek and the highlighting shade to the tops of my cheeks. I then added a bit more to the end of my nose, the bridge of my nose and my cupid's bow. To line my lips, I used a 24/7 lip pencil in the shade Liar and went and used it pretty much across all my lips, of course lining from the outside first and then filling in the inside. I then finished off the lips with the liquid lipstick from Jouer in Noisette and went over all of my lips with it. So this is the final look, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it easy enough to follow. If you do recreate it, obviously tag me in any pictures as I'd love to see it, and if you found it helpful, do comment below and let me know what other kind of looks you'd like me to do. If you like this look, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe of course, and you'll find a list of the main products used in the box below and a full list over on my blog.